My name is BukkyNG and I'm happy to welcome you to my class. Today we'll be talking about personal finance, what it means, the importance of personal finance. We'll look at common money mistakes that people make, why it is important to have finance knowledge, and also talk about some strategies that can be deployed towards ensuring a successful financial journey. Personal finance means different things to different people because we all have different backgrounds and different foundations of money that we all grew up with. A lot of people, or some people rather, have parents who, from an early age, have started building a foundation of investments, savings, money. Their parents prepared them for success earlier in life, while there are some people who will have to start the journey by themselves. And essentially, this just makes everybody's journey different. However, the good news is that irrespective of what your background is or how you started, your personal finance journey, everybody is able to achieve, whatever goals, whatever plans, or generally, I would say everybody has a chance to become wealthy, to build a successful portfolio of money or investments or whatever it is your goals, your desires are really. And under personal finance, we're going to be looking at things like budgeting, insurance, investments. We'll talk about retirement and estate planning and why all of these are important factors that you need to understand and deploy towards fulfilling your goals. It's also important to understand that everybody must have goals and desires. If you don't have a goal that you're working towards, if you don't have a desire for maybe your future or a project that you want to achieve, you will not, what you don't plan for, you don't work towards it, and then you cannot achieve it. You need to have goals. If you don't have goals, you would not, you know, find the motivation to work towards anything. And also, not being financially disciplined can lead people to making mistakes and accumulating debts, and this is something that we all would want to avoid. We'll also look at the fact that everyday prices are increasing, inflation is eating away at people's purchasing power, and so it is important that you are intentional about your finances so that you are able to combat the effect of exchange rate depreciation, inflation, and what that does, to your finances. There's also the factor of age. There's a school of thought that says that it's okay to start making financial decisions between the age of 50 and 54 because at that point you would have accumulated enough knowledge and experience about money, about saving, about spending. While another school of thought believes that it is very important to start at an early age so that you would have laid a solid foundation for your financial well being, and then you would have been able to get practice towards making informed decisions, and then you are able to secure a prosperous future. I would say that whether you're starting at a young age or at an old age, the important thing is to believe that you can still work towards achieving a successful financial journey. We'll talk about areas of personal finance, and the areas that are important to always focus on are income, your source of income. How many sources of income do you have? How many streams? We call them multiple sources of income, multiple streams of income. How many do you have? Because sometimes one source of income may only afford you to take care of your basic needs. However, when you have peradventure a very good source of income, or you have multiple streams of income, then you have a better chance at saving, investing, and achieving, your goals. Some strategies that can be deployed on your personal finance journey are: one, I've said before, having multiple sources of income. Another thing you can do is to devise a budget, or to have a budget. Always ensure that you have a budget that you're working with at every point in time. What is a budget? It is really a breakdown of your expenses versus your income at every point in time. And the what we find out, or what is most common, is that people that pay attention to their income and how they spend their income, always looking at their past spending habits and trying to do better, trying to make better decisions, trying to avoid, mistakes they've made in the past, will always have a better chance at saving more money, investing better, and just generally achieving, whatever goals or projects that they put or they set for themselves. We'll also talk about pension fund. I think people don't talk about planning or working towards retirement as we should. There's something called the pension fund contribution, which for some people their employers already do for them. But what a lot of people don't know is that apart from the contribution that your employer makes to your pension fund, you as an individual can also choose to add more money to what your employer is putting, into the fund for you, so that when you eventually are ready to start your retirement, then you can request for this money from your pension fund administrator. So that is one area I think people don't pay a lot of attention to. Another area is insurance. In Nigeria, a lot of people believe that the only thing they really need to insure is maybe their cars, perhaps because to an extent it is compulsory. But what we don't understand is that apart from the car insurance, there are also a lot of other insurance policies that you can benefit from. One of them being the life insurance, or as it's called, life assurance. It's important that we spend more time understanding what we can benefit from having a life insurance in place. And this just generally means that when you die, or when you get to a certain age, you can either call for this money from your insurance company, or peradventure, if it is upon your death, your beneficiaries can, call on this policy. And even if that's the only thing that you are able to leave for them, it could just be a game changer for them, and a solid foundation upon which they can then start their own financial journey. We also talk about resource sharing. There's something called resource sharing, and this just generally means coming together with people, forming a community, and buying things in bulk. What this does for you is that sometimes there are opportunities for discounts. Sometimes it could just essentially be that it makes life easier for you when you are in a community and you have people that you're working together with to achieve goals, rather than doing everything by yourself. Also, is personal finance for everybody? I would say yes. One, because there's no knowledge that is ever wasted. So there's no type of knowledge that you can consider a waste of time or a waste of resources. So that's why it is important that everybody should be vested in their personal finance journey. Knowledge of personal finance also empowers people Meaning that sometimes when you don't know what to do, you make the wrong decisions, and then, or because you don't know what you're doing, or because you don't have enough knowledge of what your fund managers and your investment advisors are doing, they can mismanage your money, they can steal your money, and you will not know because you are not informed. And so it is important that you are empowered. Also, parents can empower their children for the future by teaching them how to manage money from an early age. Lastly, having a knowledge of financial management, it also helps you in business. So, as a business person that already has this knowledge before starting the business, you would realize that it helps you make better decisions as a business person. It helps you to put in place certain things that some other people would not think about, one of which is paying yourself first. When you start a business, irrespective of whether the business has started making money or not, you need to pay yourself as you are paying your staff, right? And apart from that, you are able to put in place certain structures such as tax, keeping records of your business transactions. Because you already have a background of budgeting, you are able to also apply this to your business and a whole lot of other factors that would help you to better plan or better execute your business activities. There are some personal finance struggles that people go through, and this happens to the best of us. One of them is learning, unlearning, and relearning of concepts. You can know about personal finance, doesn't mean that that knowledge you cannot build upon it, or it doesn't mean that what you know today is what will continue to sustain you in the future. So you need to build on this knowledge. Sometimes there are some things that we learn, we later understand, or we later get to find out that we don't have the right information. So you need to unlearn such things. And then you also relearn concepts, you relearn ideas, and which is why it's important to continue to build on the foundation of the knowledge that you have. Also, when you are unable to save due to constant emergency need for cash, that can be a problem. And this means that you have savings, but there's always an emergency need for cash, either by yourself, or maybe you have friends or families that are always coming to you, with one emergency or the other. Um, Sometimes when people also keep too much savings in cash rather than investing these monies, it can also be a problem, because sometimes when you have easy access to this cash, then you are not able to say no when people come to you to ask. There's also the temptation to engage in unwholesome practices because you just want to make that quick money. So people come to you to tell you about some get rich quick schemes, and then you fall for them. This is one struggle that every one of us faces, and the likelihood of losing your money in those instances is always very, very high. We also have sometimes savings not translating to investments. And again, this is because there's always that emergency need for cash. And that's something that everybody needs to pay attention to, so that you don't have, your goals being derailed over and over again. Some of the common money mistakes that people make: one is investing in products that they do not have prior, or they do not have enough knowledge about. And so you put your money in this investment and then you lose the money because you did not do enough research to find out if the product was really a legitimate product, and maybe what the company is actually using the money for, and what their cash flow looks like. Sometimes we also engage in investments based on hearsay. People will come to you and tell you, oh, this is what they've heard about this investment, or they know somebody that did this and this was how it turned out. But by the time it gets to your own turn, you your experience is different. And so it is always important that, again, knowledge, keep learning. Don't make investments in a hurry. Ensure that you've done your research, you know what you're getting yourself into, and all of that. Sometimes we also enter into investments because you don't want to miss out. Everybody is talking about how they have gotten good returns on this investment, but you don't really know what it is about. You just don't want to miss out. This is one common mistake that people make. Another thing is emotional lending, when you're not able to say no to people. And so every time one person comes to you with one sub story or the other, you can't say no and then you give them the money. We also have issues of emotional buying. We buy things that we don't really need, because it just makes us feel good to buy them. All of these things can slow down our success in terms of our savings and investments planning. I've been saying it over and over, talking about the fact that it is important to be knowledgeable about investments, about savings, about the financial world in general. And the good thing is that even though in a place like Nigeria, money management is not exactly taught in most schools. And so a lot of us do not have or do not get to have that foundation in school. However, because of social media and how easy it is to get access to information now, I would recommend that people pay attention to learning or having or accessing every free online materials that you can get on finance, on investments. Reading personal finance blogs is a good way to start. You can attend free online courses and even some paid courses. If you are really vested in learning, you can talk to reputable financial advisors from time to time about your investments, about what is happening in the country in general, about new opportunities that are available that you don't know about. Another thing I would say is that apart from just learning about investments, there are also things that you can learn. And I think I would say trading of financial instruments. There are opportunities to learn how to trade, foreign currency, fixed income, so many. They may be technical, but they are there. And there are opportunities, stock market trading, for instance. So what this does for you is that it helps you have multiple streams of income. You can have a 9 to 5 job, but nothing says that you don't also learn something that you can do during your spare time or during the weekend, which will also help you make some money. And so that gives you additional, sources of income. There are some principles that, if properly deployed or if properly utilized, can help us to avoid a lot of the mistakes that people make. And it also essentially helps us become better in decision making. Now we'll be talking about some principles of personal finance. And the first thing we'll be talking about is prioritization. It's important to prioritize where your money is coming from or what you are deploying your monies into. So, in making or preparing a budget for the month or for the year, it's important that you prioritize activities that can help you grow your income, grow your money, rather than spending or maybe giving. Um, and I would want to focus on investments a lot at this point, because when we talk about savings, you can save money, but those monies, because they are easily accessible, there's the likelihood that all of those things we've talked about before, including emotional buying and not being able to say no to people, and even in your own case, emergency need for cash. It's always easy to attend to these things when you are putting all your money in savings. However, when you invest your money, the money grows. And because, like we talked about before, being able to combat the effects of inflation and exchange rate movements can only be done through investments. And the reason for this is because there's something we call time value of money, meaning that your 1,000 today is not the same as your 1,000 tomorrow. Either exchange rates or inflation can erode the value of this money if it is left in cash or in your savings account. However, when you invest these monies, there's a compounding effect on it, because every single day you get interest on this money. And from time to time, whatever interest that you have accumulated on those monies, it could be on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, or whatever period that you are comfortable with, you can choose to take this interest and then add it to the principal, which is the initial amount that you invested. And so, what this does is it increases your principal, it increases your money. And this is what the compounding effect is. And this can only be done when you actually take the monies out of your savings account and put it into one trusted investment or the other. Notice that I said trusted, because there are lots of investment products out there that can actually erode your money or you lose your money. So, after doing the research and understanding that the investment is genuine, you can put your money into this and then watch it grow. Um, it's also important to be disciplined. Avoid giving into temptation. When you have, or when you collect your income, it could be your salary, it could be your business income on a monthly basis or whatever period, that you're looking at. It is discipline and self denial that will help you be able to take some of that money and then put it into investments rather than spending it that very moment. So, it is very necessary for all of us, particularly when we have a goal that we're working towards, or we're just generally building wealth for ourselves and for maybe our children, to be disciplined in anything we do. As a business person, be disciplined. As an individual, be disciplined. Deny yourself today so that you can enjoy tomorrow. There's also being able to detach yourself emotionally, remove emotions from reason, be focused. Okay, don't give in to emotional buying, don't give in to people coming to you. Nobody is saying you should not help. What I would advise is that at the end of every month, particularly for people who are working on a 9 to 5 basis and get their income at the end of the month, is to apply weights or percentages. So you'd have a certain percentage of that money, it could be 5% or 10%, that you choose to say, after my tithes, my 10% tithes, these other 10% can go to maybe helping people. Another 20% can be for your spending for the next month. and then choose whatever percentage you want to put into savings and investment. It could be 30% or 20%. The important thing is to be consistent. So if you're applying a 20% percentage to your savings or your investments, try to be consistent on a monthly basis. Don't do 10% today and 20% tomorrow. These are the things that would delay you or hold you back from achieving your dreams, from fulfilling your purpose, right? So over time, as you see your money working for you, as you've seen your money growing, you would have added motivation to continue. But when you are just starting, you would require that you build self discipline and you apply yourself, deny yourself, do whatever it takes, do whatever you need to do at that point in time so that you can see results, in the future. And then that could become the motivation that keeps you going. Exercising restraints, this is the same thing as, being disciplined, practicing self denial and all of that, exercising restraints. Instead of buying, something today, you could choose to work towards buying it tomorrow. So I may need this thing, but if it is not urgent and important, you could choose to get it in the future or even plan towards it, work towards it, save towards it rather than wanting to have it today. Summarily, I would want to focus on a few facts that I've touched on before now, and that is to again reiterate the fact that knowledge is important, no knowledge is lost, and the fact that schools may not teach you how to manage your money does not mean that you are helpless or that you cannot apply yourself. There are enough free online materials, articles, courses, blogs. There are podcasts that you can watch. There are books that you can read. All in all, you are able to, the knowledge that you require, the knowledge that you need to make your personal finance journey successful is out there. The knowledge is available. This course is one of those resources that you can apply, that you can, go through to help you become better. Also, the core areas of managing your personal finance includes includes income, having multiple sources of income, and then your spending habits. What are your spending habits like? Is it possible to do better in the way you spend? Can your spending habits can you work towards making your spending habits better? Okay. Savings, do you put more money in savings than in investments? Savings really should be for those emergency needs for cash. So you shouldn't put too much money in savings. You should put more in investments. We've also talked about protection and protection. I'll touch more. I'll do a bit more. Talk about protection a bit more. When we say protection, we're talking about insurance, and this could be life assurance, like I've mentioned before. For some people that have homes, their own homes, you could also think about buying protection for your home, doing home insurance or fire insurance. There are different types of insurance policies that cover your home. Yes, there are a lot of insurance policies that we could do the research on, find out what they are and how they can benefit you. And I think this is one area where Nigerians don't really spend much time, but could be very beneficial. We also talked about some developing strategies that can help you become smarter, which is budgeting, creating an emergency fund, making sure you pay off, your debts. Don't accumulate debt. Using credit cards wisely. Credit cards are not bad. However, how you use them is what will determine if credit cards are good for you or not. Saving for retirement. We've talked about the pension fund scheme and how that can be of benefit to you. And for the people that do not know, at the moment, there is a scheme in place where you can actually request for a certain percentage of the monies that you have in your pension fund accounts and deploy it towards getting a home. You can use that money you get from your pension fund accounts to get a loan from the National Housing Fund and buy a home. So that's also something that I would recommend. And being disciplined. It's important that we're disciplined in this journey. It's important that we exercise restraints from time to time. It's important that, we're consistent in our planning, our investments or trading business activities. Essentially anything that we do, be consistent in doing it so that you can achieve your aim.